Really? Sydney?
Melbourne.
Melbourne?
Yeah.
Nah.
I want to go to Sydney if I make another trip.
Yeah, you should. Sydney's better than Melbourne.
Melbourne was pretty cool, though.
It is cool.
So it says your travel agent.
Yeah.
Go ahead, guys.
Well, how would you describe the atmosphere around the team right now, heading into a kind of an important game?
I think the atmosphere is, it's been great. The guys are positive. I think the guys have been positive throughout the whole entire playoffs, and I think that's what's, being so encouraging with our team. We have great veterans. We have guys that have been in this situation. With Kyrie, he's been here, and, he's, lit a spark and has been a great leader for all of us, and, the same goes as Luka.
The old saying is that the hardest game to get in a series is the closeout. What can you learn from the fact that you guys had a closeout game against the Clippers?
Yeah, it's been a very similar series as the Clippers series. But, yeah, I think any closeout game, OKC's they're going to give us, everything they have, and it's up to us. But in saying that, I think, we have to give everything we have too, make sure that we, cement ourselves into the next round. That's where we want to be. So, I think it's going to be a battle, and I'm looking forward to it.
You guys are a win away with not the normal offensive production from Kyrie. How do you think that is? What do you think you've done to make that happen as a team?
Guys have, stepped up. PJ's had a huge series. D. Jones had an amazing series. And, it's awesome, for them. But, also for Kyrie to be able to, trust in his teammates like that, I think that's huge. And it just shows, not only him as a player, but also him off the court, too.
I think Kyrie is 13-0 in closeout games. How crazy is that somebody can run up that kind of record?
It's awesome. I don't know that stat off the top of my head, but I think it's awesome. It shows, he's a winner and he's competitive.
Josh, y'all held the Thunder to under 100 points. What are y'all doing so well defensively that is kind of throwing them off?
I think just sticking to our game plan. I think the whole, 100 points, I remember the first day of training camp, it's one of the first things, coaches talked about is we need to hold teams under 100, and that's what we need to, hold our heads to. And obviously, during the regular season, I don't know if we really did that most games, but we're here where it counts now, and I think everybody's taking responsibility on the defensive end. Everybody knows their mistakes, but, we're not hanging our heads on it, and we're making sure that it's a, next play mentality. And guys are really locking in on the defensive end. The playoffs is every single possession matters. And I think guys realize that, and, we want to win. So we're willing to go as hard as we can on the defensive end.
Last game, it seemed like Luka played with a lot of joy. What is playing with that Luka like?
To me, Luka's always full of joy. Might not seem like it, sometimes, but Luka's always, he sometimes, he doesn't seem like he's happy, but he's always, there's a little kid inside of Luka all the time, and it is cool to see that. It's been a long season for him. It's been a long season for everyone, and I think anytime you can see, your teammates, just one teammate smiles is contagious. So I think it's always awesome to see that, and yeah, he's smiling today too. So yeah.
What are film sessions like this time of year? Is it coaches talking more, or you guys asking questions more?
I think it's a little bit of a mix. I think one of the cool things about coaches, the way he does things is it's a player it's a players league, and he values our opinions, and he values what we see on the court too. So I think it just depends. Obviously it's film of us messing up, but at the same time the floor is open. And, there's certain things that, from a player's perspective that we may see, and he's always open to that. And, we have great leaders that have been in these situations like, like Kyrie and Markieff and guys like that are always, he's always open up to opinions.
Is there anything you guys can take away from just having been through a closeout Game 6 and that experience? Because obviously the old adage is that's the toughest. Closeout games are the hardest ones to get.
Yeah, they're all tough. Not just the closeout, but any game in the playoffs are tough. But we do have experience with this, and so we got to lean into that. But we know that Oklahoma City is the #1 seed. They're well coached. They got a lot of talent there, so we respect them and understand we got to play our best game in Game 6, and we got to try to protect home.
Clearly, you've shown you can win without normal offensive production from Kyrie. You've got 3 wins in this series. What do you think it says about the team, and are you confident that that could continue to happen?
Yeah, I think the big thing we've always looked at ourselves as just a team, not just one guy or 2 guys, even though Luka and Kai get a lot of the attention. But looking at, Kai's ability to find the open guy, he's taking the double teams, he's accepting them and trusting that his teammates are going to make the right play. And then defensively, he's given everything he has on the defensive end. I've never seen him play defense like this in the playoffs, understanding what's at stake. His game has gotten better on the defensive end, and we're going to need that, tomorrow night.
These series are always about adjustments. We've seen Oklahoma City make some adjustments with the adjustment with Giddey and in and out of the lineup. For you, you pushed the button with Jaden Hardy in Game 5. What did that decision go into that, and how you felt about what he could possibly bring to you, and saw him produce some good minutes in that game?
Yeah, I wanted to get to Hardy in one of the other games earlier, but didn't get to. And so just looking at getting to him early, I wanted to get him in early to see how he was going to respond. I believe and trust that he's ready to play. I think his teammates would say the same. And I thought he did a really good job. A lot of times we're judged on numbers, but I thought his energy, his decision-making was at a high level, and defensively he did all the right things. So as I said after the game, we got to try to figure out how to get him more minutes. Nothing against what Exum has done. Someone has to sit, and so Exum was the one. Someone else could sit come tomorrow night. But just looking at what Hardy did, we got to get him on the floor.
And what was it that led you to want to get him the time? Was it something he's been doing in practice, or a feeling you had? Or?
No, he's been part of our team. Just what he's done for us during the season. He's been patient. He's over there cheering. He's given everything he has, even though he hadn't been on the floor, that early. So, but also being young, I want to see how he responded in that situation, and he did a really good job with that. And so, again, we need to stack. Hopefully, we can stack another positive day tomorrow night.
What's this journey been like this season for your team defensively? I know there were probably some maybe doubts early on that they would get it, but I know the trade made a big difference. But did everybody have a light bulb moment where they bought in?
Yeah, when we stopped being able to score. No, no. I think it's a season, and that's why they call it a season. I thought early in the season we were shooting the ball extremely well, and I think we relied on our offense to be our defense. Sometimes the makeup of the roster or the players sometimes will lead you to being more of an offensive team than defense. I thought the trade, helped us with the defensive side of the ball, and you saw that since I think March 7th when we started to play at a high level defensively. And then I think just the group that we have being able to do different schemes has helped us on the defensive side. And then we've always talked about it is you can be a good defensive team and you can get the missed shot, but if you don't get the rebound, you're not going to be a good defensive team. And I thought rebounding has helped us in a big way, being able to get the rebound on the missed shot. Even though in the last game, in that first 5 minutes, we didn't rebound the ball well. They got a lot of offensive rebounds. So just understanding if we can rebound the ball, we can be a really good defensive team.
Jason, just following up on that, with Kyrie and Luka, what specific changes or improvements have you seen defensively from them to elevate your team defense? Yeah,
just the understanding of what we're trying to do, and then effort and want. Sometimes when we're asking them to score, there's going to have to be something that has to give a little bit, and so sometimes the defensive end can give. But they have done both for us in the playoffs, but also a little bit before the playoffs. They've When you talk about March and April, those guys have been playing both sides of the ball for us, and maybe that's why our offense has come down a little bit. But understand, if you want to win at this time of the year, you got to play defense. You got to get stops, and we're doing that right now.
Jason, Vince is getting his jersey retired by the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
What does that mean to both of you that he's going to be hanging right next to your jersey, specifically since you guys are a great tandem in the early mid-2000s?
That was a long time ago. It's great. I think it's a great thing for Brooklyn to retire Vince's jersey. He's done a lot for the Nets and for myself. Makes the game easy, but it's cool that 15 is going to be up there. It's well deserved, and there's no better teammate to be able to go up there. So I know he's excited. I'm excited. It's again a great thing for the Nets. But he made the game easy. He's I could have thrown a couple balls out of bounds, but his athletic ability saved me. And then he made the game easy. He was always up for the competition and always wanted to win. So I was lucky to have him on my side.
It's only been 12 days since you guys said Max would be evaluated in 3 weeks, so clearly it's a long way. But just the sight of him being on the court and just at least having the harness off and shooting, is there any psychological uptick or something good from the team standpoint to kind of have him back and at least doing some things with the possibility that he could return at some point?
Yeah, I think there is a possibility that he can return. It's great to see him get his cardio, his blood flow going, and getting with the defensive slides over there. It's all progress. It's all going in the right direction. I think that's a positive, for him, but also for his teammates and coaches to see him doing some basketball activity. And so we'll see what that timeline, looks like as we go forward.
Coach, what does it mean? Luka's been playing with injuries. What does it mean for a team in the NBA playoffs to have a superstar who doesn't complain, goes out, gives everything he has while battling injuries?
Yes, Luka never complains.
Always about injuries.
No, he never complains about anything, and so I think that's just who he is. You look at.
That's what I figured.
See, she agrees that he doesn't complain. That's pretty good. But it just shows his toughness, his will to help the team win. He's banged up. He's going to go out there and play and understand that the physicality is going to be high, that he has to go through. But again, just what he's given us has helped us win games, and that's what we're going to need tomorrow night.
In your experience as a player, when you had something that you knew the offseason was the only way it was going to fix with rest or whatever, does an extra day in a playoff series really make that much of a difference?
Some say yes, but the physicality is going to start up again tomorrow. So, but yeah, I think extra day can help with the bumps and bruises and give you a little bit more gas in the tank. So yeah, I would say it does. But once the game starts, the nagging injuries will pop up, and you just got to play through them.
Luka had said that he concentrated more, obviously eliminating the conversations, extended conversations with the officials and getting back to the love of the game. Was that a specific conversation that you may have had with him, or is that something that he just kind of decided that on his own he needed to do to be able to really help this team from that area and standpoint?
Yeah, I think he I think had that conversation with himself. I had the conversation with the team before we went out on the floor, just understanding the atmosphere, being on the road. The calls will not go against you, so let's not complain about the calls. And then I needed, I thought for our bench to be involved. The energy of our bench is sometimes doesn't get the credit, but they needed to be involved in that game, and I thought they did a really good job. And then a lot of times, sometimes guys can, be irritated that they're coming out, but we needed some positive energy when you come out, that the next guy that, you're passing the baton can carry the load. And I thought the guys did a really good job with that.
Your bench has stayed out of the news this year as opposed to 2 years ago. What's the difference? Is that all a Theo thing? or-
That's the rules. They created those rules so that we couldn't get involved. So we're trying to sit as much as possible and stay in when we can.